Continuing with the book of Genesis, we hear that important word describing the serpent who was the most cunning. So cunning is an important word for us to reflect on and try to discern and grapple with. And how many times are we trying to be cunning with ourselves in the way we try to rationalize the choices that we make, which can be sinful, yet we try to rationalize them. This is all part of that being cunning. And the element that kind of ties the readings together that we can reflect on is the importance of listening. If we really listen carefully to the serpent, he was saying a lot of truth in here, and yet Adam and Eve were not listening very closely because they could have said, yeah, you're right. That's what God said. Did God really mean that not to eat of any, that you would become like him? And then it's like, oh, become like God? And then we jump to the conclusion of no, and yet, in whose image was Adam and Eve created? They were created in God's image. That's sort of like becoming like God, if we're in God's image. And yet the cunningness of the serpent was just kind of twisting it here and there, putting doubt. That's such a harmful situation to find ourselves in. So if it's a doubtful situation, whatever it is, in a relationship, with one another, with spouses, with church, with society, doubting, bad news. And then if we carry that same theme then into the gospel, St. Mark is trying to deal with how lack of listening can cause issues. And so he presents a person who was deaf. He was deaf. And so Jesus approaches that person who is not listening, who is deaf. What does he do? First thing, takes him away from the crowd. Crowd can cause noises, either in volume or just noise and stuff. You got to do this. You got to believe this. You got to all this quality of noise, still noise, and it's making it difficult for us to listen. So Jesus takes him aside and says, okay, these are the dynamics in just our relationship with people, with God, with ourselves. Do we really listening? Are you really listening right now to what I have to say? You can say, yeah, okay. But then the circumstances, you're away from the crowd out there, and it's easier to focus in. But now just take that a step farther. What are we going to lead ourselves into when we hear, go, the mass is ended? Go back out to the crowd and be aware. Be careful. There's a lot of cunningness going on out there. Praise be Jesus Christ.